All right. I would like to start off by thanking everyone for being here today. I know that everyone here has worked really hard throughout the course of TDMP to create these projects and to work with their mentors and stuff like that. So it truly does mean a lot that you guys would all take time out of your day to be here and just watching our presentations and being present with us. So with that said, throughout TDMP, me personally, I was able to meet professionals from a variety of career fields, ranging from data analytics to finance to law. Throughout meeting with these people, I was able to learn more about myself and my potential career opportunities. I learned a lot about all these different fields throughout my experience with job shadows and informational interviews, and I really think that it was extremely valuable for my personal learning. One career field that I especially enjoyed was the field of law. Through various informational interviews and job shadows, I began to learn more about the inner machinations of this field. On one of the job shadows I went on, I met with the senior vice president of the general counsel of Mosaic, which is a Fortune 500 company based in the Minneapolis area. A lot of its operations go down in Florida and Idaho. But I was able to meet with their senior vice president of the general counsel, Mark Isaacson. Um, so I was able to, on that job show, I was also able to talk to various other attorneys from the company. And I think that this was one of the most valuable experiences for myself personally, as these attorneys range in different career fields, such as environmental law, real estate law, and things like that. So it was really interesting to be able to see all the different facets of law that are out there. Um, Mosaic, obviously, they are a huge company. They're Fortune 500, and so it was really cool to be able to be inside there and kind of learn about more what they do. They are actually a mining company, and so what they do is they mine phosphate and potash down in Florida and Idaho mainly, and these are nutrients that really help farmers out a lot and with their fertilizer. So it's a really extremely useful product. Especially, I think it's very necessary with the mining operations that they're doing. A lot of mining has a bad stigmatism around it, but all of their operations are top notch, and what they're contributing to the world truly is so awesome. So after this job shadow with Mosaic, I was able to conduct an independent research project for them. This involved reading several court cases, calling government officials with down in Florida, and then with the EPA. So that was an extremely great opportunity for me personally, and I was also reading scholastic documents outlaying what was going on in the phosphate mining process. So I was learning a lot about that, and I was also learning a lot as I was reading these court cases about the style of writing that law is conducted in and things like that. So I thought that was really, really useful for me, as I'm interested in law, obviously, to be able to be reading that and have that motivation to go out and read those papers. Whereas if I'm not doing this project, to be completely honest, I may not have that motivation. So it was just great to be able to have that set thing that I had to do to write this paper, which I ended up writing a two-page paper outlining the potential dangers to the environment through phosphate mining, and how Mosaic should work with environmental groups such as the Sierra Club in order to work for environmental safety. Without this project, I may not have had that motivation to go out there and do that. So it was really an incredible experience for myself personally. So the topics that I researched and wrote about throughout this process were surface mining, phosphate mining, and then Central Florida's ecosystem. And so, in my opinion, in order to fully understand what's going on in phosphate mining, it's essential to understand the process that goes into the phosphate mining. And so, basically, what we'll start off with is when you start, it's obviously the phosphate rock in the mine. And so what Mosaic is doing is through their mining process, they're getting that out, and then it's that pure phosphate rock. It's no longer in the ground or anything. And so then sulfuric acid is added to that, and through that chemicalization, it makes the phosphoric acid. Sorry, big word there, but so it makes that phosphoric acid, and then when ammonia is added, you can make all sorts of products with that. Fertilizer obviously is a big one, and then just a bunch of different nutrients are going to be able to be made through that as well. Um, so I have a little video here to kind of show. This is actually from one of Mosaic's sites. So it shows the process that goes into the mining and the operations that are going on. So I'll let that play there. Alright, so I won't have volume tomorrow at the Mentor Fair, but so this video here obviously shows someone excavating the phosphate rock out of the mine itself. I don't think it's like a traditional mine. As I said, it's a surface mining operation, so they're not actually going down deep into the earth. This is all within at max 40 feet below the Earth's surface, so it's really just pulling the phosphate rock out there. And then obviously I can let that play for a little bit, but I'll skip that since I'm just making the video here. So let's talk about phosphate's purposes. Within the industry, it's used a lot for calcium supplements, for cows and animals and stuff like that, kind of just a minor supplement going into things. And then it's also used for industrial chemicals, which is, in the chemical process of making different things, the phosphate itself, the pure phosphate is used a lot. And then the main reason and what Mosaic specializes in is the fertilizer. And so that fertilizer isn't some fertilizer that you would find in your garden. That fertilizer is used in commercial farms and stuff like that. So it's the people who are churning out a lot of food that are using this fertilizer. And I think that is something that's extremely necessary, is that efficient fertilizer, and that's what phosphate gives them, which really does help society through just feeding people through the farming and stuff like that. So pretty cool with that. So I think that, like I said earlier, mining has a big stigmatism around it, kind of a negative stigmatism about, all mining is dangerous and stuff like that. The nature of phosphate mining, though, is that it's surface mining. So it's a lot less dangerous in nature than if you were digging down really deep into the earth. One thing it does do, however, is it displaces animals and people living on that land where the mining operations are going to be happening. And so that going, like, the reclamation of the land, that process is a little bit tough. Sorry, I should have clicked over a slide a little bit earlier there. But that process of the reclaiming the land is a little bit tough. One of the things that studies have found is that there's an uptick of radiation on the reclaimed lands, and that isn't extremely proven. With radon gases, the dangerous level is truly around 20%, and the studies have shown it goes from 8 to 12 after the phosphate mining clears out and everything. And a lot of the lands that Mosaic is going are coming back to being golf courses and stuff like that. So a lot of the land is safely put back into use. And then another thing that is kind of worrisome is a potential dam break with the settling ponds. This was a big fiasco back in 2002. And so basically, one of the settling ponds, this wasn't with the Mosaic company, it was with a different phosphate mining company. One of their settling ponds, actually, the dam broke and it spilled out. There was a huge acid spill. And so that was something that could have been prevented, and it wasn't. And so it kind of just ruined the land around there. I mean, there were 10,000 fish dead in a nearby creek. So that's something that the safety precautions have to be there, and the engineers have to be aware of that. I think when building those dams, but with caution, that shouldn't even be an issue. Another harmful effect is the chemical regions over time. This one is a lot less proven. The danger that scientists are seeing are the chemical regions over a long period of time and the effects that that will have on the environment. So it's not exactly proven yet, but kind of just to keep an eye out for that and making sure that all of that is used safely is a big thing for sure. But the reallocation of land is obviously the most worrisome for environmentalists, with the radiation and everything like that. So to work to for solutions to these problems, Mosaic and other phosphate mining companies must listen to and cooperate with environmental groups such as the Sierra Club. I think that this would be able to protect the environment. I think that working with them, I don't think their demands are too extreme, especially because it's a fairly safe process to begin with. Um, so just working with them to ensure that everything that can be done to prevent an accident is being done. And I think that would really help with the safety of the operation, and it would just ease the public's mind about it. And this has been a great process for me learning about this and being able to talk to Mosaic about this, and be upfront and honest with them and just getting feedback on my research. So it was a great process for me. Thank you for listening. I hope you guys have a great day.